Hello dear students, I am Kanchan Bagul, working as an assistant professor in the Department of English of KRT Arts, BH Commerce and AM Science College, popularly known as KTHM College Nasik. I welcome you all on this e-learning portal of the college. I am sure you all are safe and taking care of yourself and all your beloved ones by staying at home. In this session, we are going to talk about the introduction to world literature in English. This session is for the students of MA Part 2 of semester 3rd. So let us discuss, students. First of all, we are going to talk about the objectives of this session. The first objective of the session is to introduce the students the concept of world literature in English. In this objective, we are going to talk about what exactly the world literature means. The second objective of this session is to enable students to understand importance of world literature in English. After talking about objective, let us discuss the learning outcome. At the end of this session, students would be able to know the concept of world literature in English. Along with, the student will be able to understand the importance of learning world literature in English. Dear students, let us focus on the contents of this session. The first content is the concept of world literature in English. In this subtopic, we are going to talk what exactly the world literature is. The second content is emergence of the term of world literature. How the term world literature derived, who coined this term, these all factors we are going to discuss in this subtopic. And the third content of this session is importance of learning of world literature in English. So let us start with the first subtopic. The first subtopic is concept of world literature. It means what is world literature in English. Before discussing the actual syllabus and learning the syllabus, I wish that students should know what exactly the course paper world literature in English is. Postgraduate students must know what exactly is the world literature mean, how it is derived, why it is important to learn world literature in English for the postgraduate students of English language and literature. Let me tell all my dear students, world literature is world's national literature. We live in 21st century, which is known as the era of information and technology. In this era, English is not a possession of a particular nation or the continent. English is the global language. You will notice that many writers from all corners of the world prefer to write in English. So the first explanation about the world literature in English is world's national literature. Literature written in all the nations of the world, maybe in all the languages of the world, can be termed as world literature. I would like to tell you, dear students, that many nations in this world are providing quality literature, and as being the student of postgraduate, one must learn that literature. The second important thing, that is literature beyond the national and linguistic boundaries. What exactly does it mean? World literature, it means It suggests the capacity of literature to transcend beyond the boundaries. And these boundaries are two types of boundaries. The first one is the national boundaries, and the second one is linguistic boundary. So, beyond language, beyond nation, when we go away and start exploring the knowledge in all sorts of literature in the world, that can be termed as world literature in English. The third and the most important factor, that is literature written in English or translated and made available in English. There may be an extraordinary writer in Russia, maybe somewhere in Latin America, or maybe a Japanese or Chinese, in any corner of the world. And the work written in all these languages, if it is being translated and made available in English, it will be known as world literature in English. For example, great work by Russian writer Leo Tolstoy, or the translation of the work of ancient Indian playwright Kalidas will come under the great umbrella term of world literature. I hope it's clear to you what exactly the world literature is. Let us move to the second point, how the concept world literature in English is immersed. What is there behind the emergence of the concept of world literature in English? While talking about this, we have to talk about a German term, that is Weltliteratur. This is a German term which means world literature, and it has been coined by almost a decade before, 1837, but it is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe who brought the term in general currency in 1837. We all know Goethe in the context of Gothic novels. He is a famous German writer, scholar, and this term is being coined by him in his book. But one thing I would like to add, he didn't theorize the term. He himself was an ardent reader of literature. He has read literature from many languages of the world. Apart from German, he was an admirer of Greek tragedy and ancient Sanskrit theatre. Especially Shakuntal, written by Kalidas, was one of his favorite. He was lover of Chinese novels. In 1837, Goethe's idea of world literature came into existence through one of his fellow writer, that is Ickermann. Ickermann published his posthumous portrait. The title of that portrait was Conversation with Goethe in the final years of his life. The communication between Ickermann and Goethe was published under this title, and in that he has talked about whatever that Goethe shared with him. In it, Goethe discussed Chinese, French, Greek, Serbian, Persian literature in world circulation through translation. And in this essay, Goethe asserted in a prophetic tone that the epoch of world literature is at hand, and each of us must work to hasten its approach. This is what the prophetic expression of Goethe, that he said, let me repeat, the epoch of world literature is at hand, means soon it will be the world of world literature, and each of us must work to hasten its approach. So rather than restricting ourselves to the literature of a particular nation, particular language, we should go beyond, transcend our level, and think about world literature. The another important supporter of the concept of world literature is Rabindranath Tagore. I would surely like to tell you that in 1907, one of his little known book was published, and the title of that book was Vishwa Sahitya. Vishwa Sahitya is a term in regional language which means world literature. There was a speech delivered at the National Council for Education. In it, he has discussed the worth of world literature. In this speech, Rabindranath Tagore stated, "One must study world literature to know how a man expresses his joy in literature, how and in what form the human soul chooses to manifest its diverse, multiple images of self-expression. In this way, considering the whole world as a family, and as it is said in Sanskrit, that what we all usually call Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and all human beings are same on the grounds of humanity. Learning world literature can provide a wider perspective of understanding of human being. In short, this is all about the world literature. We live in the modern world of globalization. In this world of globalization, world literature plays a vital role to connect us globally. Dealing with all world literature is not practically possible. Therefore, experts, the syllabus designer, have chosen some selective representative text to give the learner a holistic understanding of the world literature. So dear students, let's have an overview of the scope of the syllabus of course paper World Literature. There are three important factors that I have put here in that triangle that we have to pay attention. With the help of this triangle, we are going to comprehend the scope of the syllabus. In this paper, the team of experts, means the syllabus designer, have very carefully selected the text. They have tried to cover all important genres. So, students will study famous poems, autobiography and biography. Some representative novels and dramas are also selected by the author, by the experts. So in this paper, 2 dramas, 2 novels, a biography, an autobiography, and along with many poems will be studied by the student. The second focal point is culture. Through this syllabus, we can have a look into the varied cultures of the world. Student can also explore the horizons of a good range of literature in many languages of the world. As this syllabus, we can study Russian writers, Pushkin, Nigerian writer Gabriel Okara, South African writer Nadine Gordimer, and Danish Brutus. Even students will get opportunity to study Chinese and Chinese American writers like Maxim Kingston and Pinian Gillen. Student can understand varied cultures like British, American, Afro-American, Canadian, Latin American. Even Pakistani poet is also prescribed in the syllabus. So it is a culturally varied feast available for the students, I must say, as it is stated in the beginning, world literature is transcending the boundaries of nation and languages. Student can experience this through this course paper. The third focal point which needs to be discussed is a panoramic view of all time periods. The experts have tried to cover all time period in this syllabus. It means in this paper, student can learn the ancient Greek tragedy as Sophocles is prescribed in this paper, along with medieval British poet as Chaucer is also there representing 15th century literature along with representing British culture. At the same time, many modern poets, many modern writers are also prescribed in this syllabus. Many contemporary writers are also there. So starting from Greek tragedies till the modern period, a great canvas of time has been covered in this syllabus. So I am sure it is surely going to be a knowledgeable and enriching experience for the students. Now here are some guidelines for the students. Dear students, let us discuss the methodology or how are we going to deal with this paper. First of all, it is expected by the students that they should read the original text. Let me repeat, the original text students should read. Now in this pandemic situation, I know it is going to be a challenging it's going to be a challenge to get the text, but text can be available online. You can download the text from some websites, or you can get the text at pdfdrive.com, LibJane or Bookify, or many other options are there. Even audio books can also be chosen by the students. So in this way, I wish students should get the text and must read the text. The reading should be the close reading of the text. Students should try to do critical analysis as you are in second part of postgraduate section. While discussing in online session, some selective extracts, some selective stanzas or some selective dialogues from the text will be discussed by the teacher. The second important thing that we are going to analyze the text by applying various critical approaches. And the third important aspect will be background, context of literary text. We are going to discuss social, cultural, historical, geographical, and if it is needed, economic context of the text. So in this way, we are going to deal with all the text of this paper. I wish to tell you all, my dear students, that please try to get the text. It may be online or offline, and start reading it. Time to time, the link of the online text will be shared during this session. I would like to tell you that in next session we are going to talk about Chaucer, and the link of Chaucer's text is already being shared in the first video of world literature. The slide will be and the link for this, the original text will also be given in the description box. So my dear student, thank you so much for your patient listening. Keep studying, keep reading, and take care of yourself. Thank you.